Once we're satisfied we've got all our door gaps correct and all the latches are correct, then we can start to do a few other jobs. And one of the jobs that I get asked about is fitting glass in the back door, and it's not as straightforward as you would think. The reason for that is the glass is actually shorter a little bit than the aperture, and what happens is a lot of people just sort of bang them in, and after a period of time, if some people use silicone, I like to use dum-dum caulking strip, but what some people do is bang it in, and then gradually over a period of time the window will drop a little bit onto the bottom of here. Well, actually there's supposed to be some little standoff spaces to lift up the glass a little bit. Well, we haven't got any, but we're going to improvise a little bit, and you'll see what I'm talking about. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to apply some rust proofing before we fit the door, before we fit the window, because we can do some sneaky little holes here and here that are going to be covered by the aluminium trim that goes around the window, and that will allow any anti-corrosive stuff to sink down inside the frame. Normally people don't really bother with that, or they drill holes up here, but I'm going to drill it up here and then fill it full and let it drip through, let it work through. And also we're going to start to put some holes in the bottom later on through, and fill all this up with anti-corrosion, whatever it's called, I can't remember. Anyway, the thing is, the stuff's awful sticky and it's awful dirty to work with. So we don't want it everywhere just yet, because we've got the wiper to put in, and perhaps we have to put a swing away wheel carrier in, and the last thing we want is all covered in bloody sticky stuff. So if we just put it in this bit to start off with before we put the glass, we should be alright. And like I say, over time it'll creep down inside this frame. I hope you get what I'm talking about. Let's do it and it'll all become clear. Having drilled our holes here, we can now start to put our anti-corrosive stuff in. This one's going to be a bit tricky and a bit long to fill up because of the bolts coming down here, so I'm just going to keep coming back to that one time and time again and keep topping it up until it comes out the bottom here. This side, however, is a lot easier. What we're going to use is this ProTech pressure pot. It's not like a Schultz gun or anything like this. The air pressure comes up here, fills this pot up, and it pushes compressed air down, and then it shoots out of this plastic nozzle here. And we're going to use Proform, oil-based anti-rusting, rust proofing. That's the word I was looking for. Rust proofing, anti-corrosion. What the hell is that? Anyway, so what we're going to do. Oh, and this is amber, by the way. It's not black. Don't put black inside your doors. Black's good for chassis, but it's certainly not good for doors, because you'll have black all over the place. The amber's not too bad. What we're going to do is try and get that line to go down inside this door frame. And it's kind of tricky to do, but you don't want all that much. You just want it to get in there. Feel that? Whoa, look at that. Now, I don't know if you can see. Let's move this camera around a bit. Might be a bit bumpy. You can see it's starting to come out the screw holes here already. See? I'd like to get that hose down a bit further. Fill her up. You can see it coming out of here now, look. I think what's happening is it's stuck round it's stuck round here, look. That's where it is, it's all bunged up there. Hey, I tell you what, why not shove that down here? This'll help, won't it? Oh, look at that. use as much as stuff as you can. See it coming out of here, look. Wait a minute. See, it's creeping out. It's creeping out of here. I thought it was creeping out there, but I think that's just polish. Right. I'm happy with that. That's the top frame done. And then we'll do the same at the other side. Don't look at me. Now we're going to do the same up here. And again you can start to see it coming through, look. When it's a bit cold, you can always put these canisters in some warm water. In fact, I think that's what I might do, but look down here. You see here? Can you see just on these bits, see it's all coming out of there, look? Gradually that will work its way down, right down to the bottom in here, and start to coat everything. Just to show you what I mean about putting a standoff at the bottom of the glass, like a little plastic mounting. If you were to set the glass on the level here, look at the top here. You have very little, you have about 2-3 millimeters in contact. So what you want is this glass to go up into that point. Now I have to be careful because this is the only glass I've got. Watch me break it. So I've cleaned around the exterior of the glass with some wire wool, but I haven't cleaned the whole glass because once it's in place, then I can clean it, because by the act of fitting it, I'm going to have paw prints all over it, so that's no good. So let me find out something that I can use for a little standoff. So what I've done is I've washed off the edges with some camping fuel rather than Varsol or anything like that, because that dries really quick and takes off that grease we've just put on. And then I've put some of this caulking strip, which they're called Dum Dum but isn't really, all the way around the periphery where the window goes, but about 2 or 3 millimeters on the inside. So it's not right up to the edge, it's just on the inside. So hopefully when it squishes, it's going to fill that gap. And if it doesn't, then if it does, we'll just trim it off. I don't know. But what I found as a little bloody, you go from the sublime to the ridiculous with lights. Now I can't even see what I'm doing. I wanted some little standoffs to put the glass on, and the best thing I found was these. These are the tops of cable ties, you know, zip ties or whatever you want to call them, and cut the top off, and it's a nice little plastic block, almost the same as the size of the window. So we're going to get a little bit of our Dum Dum, and where the hole is here, so we know it's even, we're going to put some Dum Dum behind it, push it on just like that. So the window is going to set on top of that. Now at the same time, this is the original piece for the bottom edge that goes on here. I've actually put it through the bead blaster, so it's not really shiny, but it's not dirty and knackered like it was before. So we're going to then put the glass in. Now I was thinking about just dropping the glass in like that and, you know, trying to get it in like that, but I don't think it's really going to work. So, oh, and another thing, the old rusty screws that were around the outside, I treated it some fancy stainless steel ones. They're going to look nice, aren't they? So let's put the glass in. Don't forget to put it the right way around. I've seen it done. People go to all the trouble and they put the glass the wrong way around. The electric elements go this side towards the latch. You know, people have put them in that way and You've got the elements on the outside. Don't laugh. We all start somewhere, you know. So, offer our glass up. Sit it on the standoffs. And there we go. It's in. Now we've got to balance it sort of evenly. We want a gap all the way around. This is where it gets interesting now. So we've got to hold it and put a screw in at the same time. Now as these were the original, and drop it on the floor. As these were the original window pieces, they all should line up. Like that. And then we'll put the top corner ones in. You won't probably be able to see, but we'll work it out. There we go. I don't know if you can see, can you? Like that, look. Yeah. Now that should pull the window up, but it still seems as if there's some caulking required. It hasn't pushed in as far as I wanted it to. I seem to recall that when we took this out, somebody had put it in with silicone. I'll tell you what I'll do a little trick. We'll fasten all the trim in, and then we'll put caulking from the outside and push it in and then smooth it off. I think that'll work best. It's going to be watertight, but we want it to be nice. So we'll get all our screws in. And you can see now that's covered over the hole for the anti what's it called now? Rust proofing. Oh, bloody hell, I can't even get that through my head today. Right, I'm going to fit the rest of this trim. The next thing we're going to do, which is most tedious job ever, but not too bad, is we're going to put a little bit more caulking strip over the top like this. I've already done this bit, and what I do is I lay the caulking strip on the top, you know, joint to joint, wherever it needs to be, right, lay it out like that, and using a plastic ruler, maybe a Britpart one, you never know, because this is a Britpart one, that's all they're ever good for. Just force it down like that, force it in. Now you may be asking why we didn't just use silicone. Well, if the glass breaks in the future, silicone's a bugger to get out because you've got to cut it with a knife, whereas this stuff comes out pretty easy. But when you cut things with a knife, you're cutting through the paint, and that's another reason why we're using a plastic ruler. So let me show you how you push that lot in. You make sure it all goes in, look. Just load it up, and then you can use your ruler to break off. Britpart, what do you expect? Take off the top like that, look, and then with your finger just run it backwards and forwards like that, look, and you'll end up with a nice seal. If there's any low spots, you can always put a bit of dum-dum in there and clean it up, and you know, take up the low spots with a bit of dum-dum. But what I'm going to do, if I can find some, wait a minute. I've got a little bit of Varsol or mineral spirits or terps just on top of that dum-dum, look, and run that in like that, and look at that. That is just, you know, something. It's too good, isn't it, really? But when it looks so much better, and it's so much easier to clean up than silicone, honestly, believe me. And that's it, and that's going to make a nice waterproof seal. So all I've got to do now is go around it. And the reason why we put that first layer of dum-dum in was to make a spacer between the glass. and the metalwork, and then we can just fill it in, if you see what I mean. So we've effectively got a double layer. All right. So I hope you like that. I'm going to go on and finish that job off, and then I think it'll be tea time. All right, making Land Rovers better. Wow, look at that. That is spectacular, isn't it? Apart from the ruler breaking. Talk to you later. Bye.